realities. This channel, we focus on all different subjects when it comes to relationships, tarot reading, spell work, and we are incorporating something new today, which will probably also be on Unfiltered. We are going to be talking about a crime story today, but we're going to focus in on not only the crime, but the characteristics of unhealthy characters that may have caused what had happened in this situation. Before we get started, I want to say welcome to my channel. If you are new, please consider taking the time subscribing and, of course, sharing, liking, and comment on what we talk about here. And if you are not new, welcome back. Everything is set up on a playlist so that you can find everything easily, including the meditation playlist, which is very, very important for a healthy mind. Today, I have with me my co-host, because this is a do-over that we're doing. The first time we were a little all over the place, and I was looking at everything back, and I'm like, I think we need to do a do-over just so that we could be more focused on this topic. It is a very sensitive subject. If you are not aware of what happened to this beautiful woman who is gracing my monitor, then you must be living under a rock.
Yeah.
That is the truth. So let's welcome a girl in a plant world who you can find on TikTok. And I've also mentioned her when I promoted her channel in a few videos ago. I forget what I was talking about.
Yes. And I love it. It's very sweet.
So let's get started with the topic at hand. We are talking about Shanquella Robinson. And as mostly everyone knows, I hope that they know what happened. Shanquella took a trip to Cabo with 6 of her friends. Now, I've been watching a lot of videos over the past day or so. It becomes an obsession. I can't understand why this happened. It's just a matter of craziness. Now, in the first video, when you and I were doing it, we were talking about looking at the video.
Yeah.
When I first saw the video, I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw it on Instagram. Just doing the scrolling,
Yeah.
I came across that video and I'm like, what is going on here? I was so perplexed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are they doing that to
Yeah.
that girl? Like, what's going on? There's a girl beating her up.
Yeah.
The other one isn't fighting back. She's literally like in a slump. And I couldn't understand. And then I realized, I guess the video cuts into this is what was going on. And I'm like, I could have been warned in advance. Thank you very much, because that is now etched in my head like forever.
It's totally draining. I still feel very almost kind of traumatized from watching that. And the more you learn about this case, the more traumatizing that video becomes, because you just fully understand what was going on in those moments. And it's sad. It's really sad, but it says a lot about Shanquella's character in the sense of she wasn't fighting back. And it's like her family has said about her, she was very much so a lover and not a fighter, and was definitely not the type of person who would start problems or like cause any, like cause any harm, or she didn't have a lot of enemies, I guess. So this is all very like random, it feels like.
One of the videos that I was watching, and I'm going to put the channel down. That channel, this girl is breaking everything down. And she doesn't have that many videos,
Okay.
but it's enough. It has garnered a lot of views. She's really breaking down the timeline. She's talking about the doctor that was present there, the stories that these 6 individuals claim what had happened, and everything isn't matching up. I think we can safely say when it comes to a crime, the first thing that a detective is going to look at is the timeline.
Yeah.
What time could have this occurred? The guesstimation of how long the body has expired due to rigor mortis, when it could have started. I mean, we live in a day of technology that people can pretty much know. Like it's not a time where you can turn on an air conditioner if you somebody, and people are not going to figure out what time this happened. That was actually in a movie that I had seen years ago. It was I think David Carradine was in that movie. It was very, very disturbing. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a man who killed his family.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then he propped them up in the basement like they were watching TV.
Yeah.
And he turned on the air conditioner and left.
Right. Okay.
And I'm not going to go into the whole movie thing, but it's an interesting movie to watch, because when these movies are played out, then I guess people thinking that because it has happened in real life where they think, oh, well, it was in a movie, maybe I can get away with it. And it's like, no, boo boo, you can't.
Well, example to back what you're saying is look at the Idaho murders. This guy was getting his PhD in criminology.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought he could beat the system. Obviously, everyone has a fair trial, and it hasn't moved to that yet. So as of now, he's a suspect. It's like, it's interesting, how people really think, especially with today and the technology that we have, that they think that they can really get away. I mean, we have solved cases from like 1970s with like such a small amount of DNA that was saved. We have caught like serial killers, and so it's very hard, and it's becoming harder to get away with big crimes, and especially murders. And I'm not saying you should ever murder anyone.
We all know the whole point is that they are lying. They're lying about what happened. They're lying about the time frame. Clearly, somebody recorded a video. Right. I'm going to read my notes just so that we could be on point. From what I gathered from this one YouTuber, the girls were not her friends. From what I understand, she really didn't know them. They were more like acquaintances. So were these girls affiliated with the guy? And my thing is, if I have that kind of money, you understand what I'm saying? And I knew two guys who wanted to bring two girls with them that I wasn't familiar with, and it was not their girlfriends, I'm not coming out of pocket for a stranger. I'm sorry.
Right.
What makes you think, as a stranger or an acquaintance that you may know from a distance, but you don't have their phone number to call them? Yeah, all expenses paid. I'm renting an expensive villa, and you're more than welcome to come. I'm not that generous.
Once again, it just shows what kind of person she was. Honestly, I'm not that generous either. I would not feel comfortable going on a trip with people I was just kind of acquaintances with, because I think, to my understanding, is that she was like acquaintances, like you said, and like at one time I think they all went to college together, but besides that, like, she was really only close with the guys, and one of them was her best friend who went on family trips with her. Anyways, it's crazy to me, because I feel like we keep finding more and more information out, every day. And we're going to find more and more out about the characters, and hopefully a motive,
Absolutely. One of the other notes that I made, and this is public knowledge, is that they all have claimed to the mother, to the family, that it was alcohol poisoning. However, there have been inconsistencies with that story. One being they didn't find alcohol in her system.
Right.
One of the mentions of this YouTuber, she said, from the looks, when I'm telling you she's breaking it down, she's breaking every single thing down. She was talking about the position of the sun. Whoever was recording, somebody else must have been behind them recording as well, because that person is capturing what's going on, but they're also capturing the person with them who is also recording. They're doing like a FaceTime or something like that. It's very unclear as to what is going on in that phone, whether that person is outside watching from the distance. Now, one of the things that she said in one of her videos was, it looks like he's holding a phone. Now, if you're doing FaceTime, how are you holding the phone? You're not holding the phone like this. You're not taking your phone. How are you doing FaceTime like that? The person is going to see your ear.
Yeah, that's weird.
They're not gonna see anything else. That's unrealistic. So there's a question as to what is happening. So the details in her video talks about breaking down the timeline, where the sun was positioned, how the whoever was on the phone, where were they when
Right.
all of this was happening. To hear the description of the internal decapitation. This girl broke it down with the whole, there was a doctor on Nancy Grace, luxation something. He said it's the first part of your vertebrae that disconnects. I'm like, I'm getting nauseous just thinking about it.
It's gross to think about. Like, not gross, but
Because of what happens to the body. I'm thinking to myself, are you just standing there, like looking at all of this, watching somebody suffer? Like, what's the matter with you?
yeah.
What
And
is wrong with you?
that's what really gets me. And what really gets me too is in this video you hear Quilla, get up and fight back. Get up and fight back. And it's like, and she's saying no. At what point do you not interject and stop everything and say, okay, this is out of hand? At what point? I mean, it should have never happened. No one does that. They just keep allowing this poor woman to get beat on until she's literally internally decapitated. That's terrible. No one should have to die that way.
Agree.
And again, if this was intended or not, you made the choice to attack this woman. There's consequences to your actions. Whatever choice you make, there's going to be a consequence. What happened was you guys decided whatever you planned something, ambush, key to the moment. We don't, that's still in the works of being figured out, I guess, but it's like, regardless of what it was, chose to do what you did. And she died. An awful death.
Mhm.
And then to have the audacity and the goal to freaking call her mom and say it's alcohol poisoning blows my mind. Like,
not only to call the mother,
yeah,
but to fly back and make plans on what they were going to wear for
yeah,
her funeral.
yeah,
How do you live with yourself?
yeah. Like, how that's a whole other level of detachment, of just not with reality. You just witnessed a close friend or an acquaintance die.
Mhm.
You're lying at that too. Okay, saying it was alcohol poisoning. As we know now with the autopsy report, there's no alcohol, like you said.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, so you're planning your outfit as an enjoyment? What is wrong with you? No, you should not be like out in public with everyday people if this is your way of thinking. If you think it doesn't even matter if she did you dirty or whatever your motive was. Bottom line, you don't take someone's life, period. You don't do that.
Here's the disturbing thing. We've heard this time and time again. Social media is large and small at the same time. We've heard many of people who are very successful, people that are watching them become very close to them, where they think that they know them very well because they're sharing a part of themselves with the world. And there's always going to be that one, what's regarded as a troll, but a troll that's on the next level of a sickening hate. And we've seen it when we were talking about in the last video. We've seen it with Diane Zamora and David Graham.
Yeah.
Diane Zamora directed her boyfriend to kill this poor girl, Adrianne Jones, because he makes this confession that he was having a relationship with her, or that he had sex with her. And it took Diane Zamora to tell her boyfriend, you got to make it right. You got to do away with her. And then claim not to be there when she was there. When they go to their respective academy, she goes and brags about it to other people. And what are those other people going to do? You think they're going to sit around and be with a person who,
like, what a dinner table
to murder?
Guess what Ann said at work today? You know what I mean? Like, where would that fly in what reality? Unless you think that way. And that's why you should not, you should not be with the public.
In her mind, she was 18 years old when this happened. Right? Her and this David Graham, they're going to be in jail for the rest of their lives. They're not coming out.
Right.
In her mind, she was 18 and dumb. I was 18 and dumb too, but you don't see me behind bars.
You don't see you plotting a murder. I don't know. Like, what?
No, I'm sorry. Being 18 and dumb is like doing stupid things. You know what I mean? Like getting drunk and acting stupid with your friends and then throwing up all over the place.
Yeah.
That's 18 and dumb. 18 and dumb doesn't equate to murdering somebody, plotting it, and trying to figure out how it's going to happen. There are some people who are not 18 and dumb, like I had mentioned in my last video with Stephanie Lazarus, a police officer in California. Her jealousy got the best of her, that she couldn't see somebody else with a guy that she was just having a casual thing with. But then later on, finding out he too played a part into it, because he kept leading her on, even though she had moved on and got married.
But that's also very interesting. And she really thought, speaking of like people who thought they were going to beat the system.
Right.
She really thought, because she was in the system, that there was no way she would get caught.
Exactly. The girl that was breaking down, this different YouTuber, when she was breaking down the Nancy Grace radio show, I don't know if it was like a television show, a radio show. She said Shanquella was close with Kali Nazir, or I think Kali and Nazir are two different people, but not the girl. So it still begs the question, why? Like, why? I think that's what's bothering me the most. Why? Like, why would you be vulnerable? People mentioned that she liked to sleep naked. Okay, fine. To me, that's the vulnerability, that now you're within a group of people that you don't know very well. How big is this villa? Does everybody have their own individual rooms that you can lock the door? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I guess I'm paranoid because of experiences that I've had. Like, all you have to do is one little thing, and that one little thing will make me question, well, is this person being sincere? Like, are they up to no good?
I get that. I think that comes with it, honestly, because that's also a sad part of all of this too, is how young she is. She was a young, successful businesswoman who had accomplished a lot. She was only 25 years old, and that in itself is sad. But on top of that, it's like everything that she's like footing the bill for, basically. It's like when you're young, you're a little bit more like, oh, who's gonna be there? Or like, you're a little more open to putting yourself in vulnerable situations. And as you get older, you're like, oh shit, I can't believe I did that. One or two, like, I would never do that again.
Absolutely. Now, my next note is no arrests have been made, according to what was said on the Nancy Grace radio show. Why is that? I don't understand is, how is it that doctor had to have come in and knew that something was wrong? The girl has a busted eye, a busted lip, a knot in her head. There's 6 people there.
And the other good point of that too is because nothing was said about how bruised and beaten she was until the father saw her body and was like, whoa, whoa, like there's something up here. So those bruises being fresh, maybe like the knot wasn't fully developed, but like by the time, like, I don't know, it's all very suspicious to me. You know, how do you not like notice that she has a bloody lip? How do you not, like, I don't know, like, I feel like obviously they have video recording of like, or like footage of her, like, or not, maybe it's not even footage, but there's a picture of her that's going around with Shanquella, unconscious, laying down. Well, I don't think she's alive in this picture, but it's her laying down in like clothing, and which she was naked in the video, so they had to dress her. It's just, it's exactly what you're saying. It's all so suspicious. Every bit of it is so suspicious, down to like the motive. It's like, you obviously didn't have, like, weren't in her will. It's not like you were going to get money from her.
Right.
So I don't even understand that motive.
It makes me think, what happened the night before?
Right.
What conversations transpired that could have triggered any one of these women?
Right.
Maybe Shanquella said something, probably was innocent,
Right.
and it just triggered their jealousy. I'm going to say that there was some deep-rooted jealousy within these women.
Yeah.
To hate somebody like that, you are beating the crap out of them.
Well, and how entitled too. You are getting a free freaking trip from this girl. I don't care how you feel. Okay, you don't plot against her to either beat her up or kill her. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That not only was this woman footing the bill, but they obviously planned this attack. Going back to that Nancy Grace video, the timeline, and talking about how she kind of breaks it down too, because you shared it with me, and I'm so glad you did, because it really does give you a bigger insight of what really went on that day, you know? And it's like, it goes back to you saying they have to create that timeline. They have to understand why and when things happen, and all of that matters.
I've only seen the video one time. When
Right.
he said, Quilla, you're not fighting back. Why aren't you fighting back?
Yeah.
Did she answer him?
Yeah. She says no. She says no. But it's, the thing is that even if, like, let's just say there was alcohol in her system, which there wasn't, and they tried to go along with that, you know, story, maybe saying she was drunk and got crazy, and it's like in the video, she clearly says she's not going to fight back. So you can't utilize that excuse that you have. You can't utilize that. Like, that doesn't work. That doesn't fit your narrative.
But I'm thinking, even if she wasn't a person who had a fighting nature, wouldn't you think that if she wasn't given something that she would have defended herself? I mean, people are going to defend themselves. If you're in the right mind, that you know that you're being attacked, you are going to attack back.
Right. At some point, you're going to fight back, right?
Hells yeah.
You know, I would. It would not have happened like that with me. People that think like that are not mentally sane people. Anyone that is not mentally sane.
No, they're not. Closing out with this situation and everything that happened to her, I feel like every day that I'm watching different videos, learning more and more, it just raises more questions. And you're right, going back to the intuition, I did that. That was like one of my first videos that I recorded, trusting your intuition versus your friends. Everybody has advice to give you in one form or another.
Yes.
And I always try to keep in mind that, are they giving the advice of what they would do, or are they giving the advice to you out of sincerity because they care about you and your well-being? We're going to talk about this more. We're going to find out more. We just wanted to share our thoughts with the audience here of questions that we have, like why did this happen? I want to thank you Miss A Girl in a Plant World. We are going to do more of these episodes. We have other topics that we want to share with you. We are doing a question and answer session because we got some questions from audience members in private that we would like to answer out loud. The questions are more relationship based questions. We're not saying that we are like the ends all and says all of answers. We want to be able to share our thoughts through our experiences. And if we can't answer it, then we'll find somebody else to answer it. If you'd like to submit your questions and you would like for us to answer it, just email me at coachmaribelblue@gmail.com. We will present the questions here. We're not going to mention any names, but we're just going to share whatever our experiences are pertaining to those questions. So we're going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks. And I'm really, really excited to have a girl in a plant world here as the co-host for Life Coaching Realities. It definitely helps because I think that, and this is just me thinking in my head, not everybody wants to hear me all the time. But I will be doing videos on my own, but I like to have somebody with me to kind of take it to the next level. And that's what we're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I feel honored. Honestly, I love your work. I've told you this a million times. I think you're so talented. So it means a lot to me to be a part of this. So thank you. And I'm so excited. Like, honestly, I really am.
Thank you. So we're going to end this episode. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening to us because I might just also convert it into a podcast. So if you can't watch the video, you will be able to have it available on the podcast. I'm working on the new, well, it's not going to be a new site, but I'm working on Maribel Blue Unfiltered. I'm creating a new front page, so look out for that as well. So you can always go to Maribel Blue Unfiltered and maribelblue.com just to get updates. Follow us on our social media. A Girl in a Plant World does all of these different series about cults. And that's another thing we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about cults. We're going to be talking a lot of things on this channel because a lot of things that we want to talk about is definitely gearing towards mental health and making better decisions for yourself. So with all that being said, always remember, be good to yourself, be good to each other. Most importantly, take care of you. Bye, everybody.